Sex is sin, they calling his name. Talking this shit, bro, you did it again.
They can say it out loud, muscles an animal.
Chorus, the fight teaching!
Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. That's Just Lost podcast, hosted by me, Lossy Loss. I got a very, 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 very special guest today. I've been excited this whole week to just talk to the brother and just feel his energy, right? The brother's name's Carl Gallacher. Is it Gallacher? Gallacher.
Gallacher. Scottish, so it's like Cheer.
Perfect. Gallacher. King of the Ring finalist. This guy's a bad man, you know, in terms of fighting, in terms of, you know, one of the most dangerous strikers to come out of New Zealand in his combat sports career. Prominent promoter, Night of the Assassins. That's what it is, right?
That's it, brother.
Night of the Assassins runs a holistic center down in Wanganui called Flowstate Holistic Centre. And one of the most important people that we have in this time, a very, very powerful spiritual warrior, Carl Gallacher. How are you, my brother?
Oh, beautiful. I'm really good, bro. Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Oh man,
it's amazing to be here, bro. I've been excited for this all week as well, man. You know, and just to connect with you, I really appreciate it. And just seeing someone like yourself, I don't know if it's something about fighters. You know, we grow so much as fighters, and we become more of ourselves, and we build that inner strength. And it's so good to see people who have that confidence to just speak their truth, you know, without that fear of judgment. You know, we shed all those layers throughout our fighting career and through the trials and tribulations of life, bro. So much honor to you, bro, and thank you for engaging with this conversation.
Oh man, I appreciate you so much with everything that you're doing, right? We'll get started, bro. I first of all, the fighting, right? Coming up, right? You were already pretty prominent on the scene, you know, and I used to think like, frick, I hope I don't fight somebody like that, you know what I mean? Like I just watching you move, bro, and like for somebody so tall, bro, to be as agile as you are, it's not very common, you know what I mean? The knee assassin, it was just a scary thought. Coming up against somebody like you, bros, is like I gotta try and stay under his weight, you know what I mean? So that's why, like, I was quite heavy when I first started. Actually, my first fight was pretty heavy, and that's probably the island blood in me, you know, just eating whatever. And then you realize, like, when Ethan's telling me, like, mate, you're just fat, that's all. So I gotta change my thing. What was the, like, how did you get started into it, bro? Like, I'm interested to, you know, to know what made you, because I mean, with your height and everything else, like basketball would be your, with your athleticism as well, I reckon basketball would have been something, you know, that we pushed to. But what was your start?
Yeah, awesome, bro. I actually did play basketball. So I was always into sports as a kid. I played basketball for about 10 years. That was kind of like my escape too. You know, I had kind of a rough childhood. And so my escape was through sports, and I would just go outside every day and just play shots on the hoop. And it's just that whole movement thing, eh? And what happened was when I was 16, when we were just starting to be able to download videos on the internet and all that kind of stuff, I came across K1 Greatest Knockouts.
Hey,
and
let's go.
you know, and I saw Peter Ertz, Ernesto Hoost, Ray Sefo, all of these giants just going at each other and spectacular knockouts and just, you know, powerful technique, and you could just see the skill, and it was just so blew my mind. And I was like, what is this? This is incredible, you know. Mirko Krokop, he was another one that I really liked watching. And there was something about it that I always felt like I could do that. But I was like, I don't know if I have the jaw for it. I don't know if I could actually jump in there and do it, but I really want to try it. And I just got a kickboxing bag and just tried to just be Mirko Krokop on the bag. And then I heard about this guy down the road who was a trainer. That was my first trainer, Derek Broughton. He was very old school, you know, like he'd just hold pads for you until you got it absolutely right, absolute proper technique, very much about setting up knockouts, very much about instilling confidence into you. And but he was also very like chuck you in the deep end, you know, like the first time I went to training, he was like, well, you got a hard kick, bro. Do you want to fight? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll fight, you know. And So a lot of my career was getting thrown in the deep end. But yeah, as you know, I had that first fight and I was just hooked, man. I was just addicted to it. And then I just wanted to grow and get better and better and better. And yeah, for me, it was just a long journey of realizing this is a path that I can take up. And I just really committed myself to just getting better every day and just wanting to be a New Zealand champion, which I know I got that goal. I achieved that goal. And then I wanted to be a world champion. And then, yeah, I did the King of the Ring thing. I became a professional fighter. And then I just went through a massive string of injuries, which again has led me to being a trainer. And I'm a big believer that there are no coincidences and everything happens in the divine flow for a reason, you know?
Amen.
But yeah,
bro.
that was my path, bro.
Yeah. It's funny that you say Mirko. Like, I used to watch Mirko when I was in school. One of my cousins introduced me to Pride. And I think it was about 16 or 17 as well. And he was just showing me this guy, this Mirko dude. And I never thought I would have fought or was going to be a fighter or anything. I was just like, yo, this guy is deadly. So I started watching Mirko, bro. And then I started this game at school, right? Because I went to De La Salle. And like being in a boys' school, you get bored really easily, right? So I started this game called Dead Leg, where you walk up to your friends and then you just kick them in the leg and then you got to say Mirko Krokop. And it got so bad, like boys were just kicking each other, like, you know, a couple of phones were broken. But Mirko was definitely one of my inspo, bro, to start fighting as well, bro, which is crazy. Just his head kicks, just him being this scary stoic, you know, man from Croatia. And I never thought, like, I fast forward to 2012 and I was still watching him, but like back then I was just like, man, this is scary, bro. Who the hell would even jump in the ring and like put themselves on the line like that, right? With me, my first I haven't actually told the story. My first start was me at work. I met a dude, his name's Aretha Gilbert, and he was a kickboxer at the time. Aretha, do you remember him? He was kind of just before your time, I think.
I've seen the name, bro. I've seen the name on Facebook heaps. I think I know who that is.
Yeah, Ace. His name was Ace. So we worked together at Mainfreight, and he was a kickboxer, right? And at the time, I couldn't make rugby trainings because I moved from Auckland to Hamilton, and I couldn't make rugby training, so I needed something. I needed something to do, right? And the bro like brought me over, started training me, and then I had this one spar with this guy that I worked with, that we were having like a little bit of, you know, beef. He was a grown man. I was like 18 or 19 at work, and then so I had this spar, bro, and then and then he was just like, oh, bro, do you want to start fighting? And then I was just like, hell no, bro. Like, don't ask me that question. I just come here for fitness, cuz. And anyway, we trained. He tried to get me a fight, I think, in the first like 2 or 3 months, bro. And I was just like, this dude is mental, bro. Like, what are you doing? But anyway, yeah, bro. Like, first fight, I remember. I don't know how did you deal with, like, you know, how fighting is, there's so much anxiety and so much, you know, that goes into it. I remember my first fight sitting in the back, super nervous, you know, and Ace and me and the bro, like, because he was my first trainer, right? He was just like, oh, you know, you're natural at this, da. And then all in my head, I was thinking, you're a liar, bro. Stop lying to me. Like, I'm here, bro. I'm here doing this. So just let me be, you know, just pissing in your ear. But like, honestly, like I wanted that place to burn down. Like, I was just like, anything to not let me go in there. Right. So, and there was things leading up to that fight as well. Like, there was just like, my head was playing tricks on me, right? Oh, this is the universe telling you shouldn't be doing this. This is the universe saying, don't do this, bro. Don't do this. You're not a fighter, you know? And then to the point right up until I walked out, they played the wrong song. And I was like, see? see, bro, this is not meant to be, you know. But then I
Oh, by
went,
fire.
so I went out, I won that first fight, and then I was just like, oh, mean, okay, that's sweet. And then I get one fight, that's cool, bro. Like, you know, not many people do one fight. And then another fight came along, and I was just like, okay, two fights, whether or not I lose this or I win this, I'm that's it. Two people, like two fights. Not many people have two fights. And then I won that. And then the third fight, I stopped the guy, and I was just like, maybe he wasn't lying to me. Maybe I could be good at something like this, you know? And like that anxiety side of things, like it's very hard to explain, right? Like as a fighter, like how would you put that into words? Because I still can't. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
absolutely, bro. It's been so long since I fought, you know. I haven't fought in 7 years. 7 years since I last fought. And my first fight was very much a trial by fire too, bro. You know, I think I woke up for work on the Friday and I got the call, do you want to fight tomorrow? And I was like, okay, yeah, because we've been prepping for it. And he said, okay, that's cool. You just got to lose 5 kgs. And I was like, well, how do I do that? I got no idea. And he goes, it's all good. Just don't eat. Just jump in the sauna, put on like 5 footies and go for a run and all the rest of it. So I was extremely dehydrated. And I went in there against some guy who had 12 fights. I went straight into an amateur fight. And the nerves didn't kick in for me too much. I was more that I was just so weak. Like I couldn't even warm up. I'd do like a couple kicks on the pads and I felt weak. And, you know, I was just told, go in there and knock him out. Go in there and knock him out, you know.
Yeah.
So I went in there and I nearly did, you know. I did the old front kick to the face, Anderson Silva style. I actually have a cool story about that too, because I was blessed to be training with Israel Stylebender. You know, it was beautiful to be on that journey with him right from the beginning, where I actually met him out in town once and we were talking about Kimbo Slice and Fedor and Pride FC. And I was like, man, you need to come along to our kickboxing gym. And he come along, and just like me, he was a natural. And so we were like, oh, wow. So we became training partners. And so I had like a good group of people around me. And yeah, I felt like we came up with that front kick to the face. And then we watched Anderson Silva do it and we were like, oh.
Yeah. Copyright that.
Yeah. But it was my second fight that the nerves really kicked in because I knew what to expect. And it's like your body goes into this intense survival fight or flight mode, and you feel every single emotion. You always get that whole sense. For me, it's like the whole day is just like, why do I get myself into this situation? Why do I put myself into this position? And then it's like you're training yourself to learn to accept and to let go, because you have to go, all right, I'm here now. Anything that I'm thinking about is not going to help. I'm just in this position. I trained for it. And you know this, you learn the hard lessons of the less prepared you are, the more nervous you're going to be.
100%.
So if you don't want to be nervous, you better prep, you better take it seriously.
Yeah.
You know, it's those fights where you're like, man, I took this on short notice and actually my fitness isn't where it needs to be. Now I'm getting nervous. Now I'm like, oh man, I need to knock this guy out quick or something. It's like, it doesn't work. But yeah, I got better and better at it. Some like King of the Ring, for example, I did a lot of visualization, and I found the visualization was key. Like I would just go for a run, and then I would shadow box, and I would visualize all 7 potential opponents that I would have, visualize the sequences, visualize the hard exchanges that I might have with specific people, and I would always visualize myself coming out on top. And when I went into that fight, there was, I wouldn't say there was no nerves, but it was massive flow. It was massive, like a sense of even though I was in this kind of fight or flight mode, there was a massive confidence that was coming through, where I could just feel, I just felt confident in my ability to go in and execute. You know, so that's what I try and instill on my fighters too. Is visualization is so key. But yeah, so many fights, you just question what you're even doing there in the first place, eh?
Yeah.
But then afterwards, after the fight, you can't wait to get back in there.
yeah, it's crazy. It's amazing, right? For me, my initial visualization moment where I realized like, yo, this is you know, it's so important, right? So I think it was probably before my first New Zealand title where I fought Chris Eads. Like I saw that fight play out. I even saw how hard that fight was gonna be as well, you know, and it was crazy to me that I, while fighting, it was like I had been here before. You know, like I remember going back in the fourth round, being exhausted and looking at myself, like seeing myself on the stool, and like Ethan's talking to me, and I'm just like, there's a photo, bro, where I'm like fully not there, like fully just faded because I was exhausted, but I was seeing myself. You know what I mean? And it was just like me telling myself, bruh, one more round, you got this, you've got this in the bag, one more round, you know. And I think me seeing myself then and the visualization helped so much, you know. And when I went into King of the Ring in 2018, this was after China and all those fights. I was at in terms of, because I started working on my spiritual, my mental before China, right? Because I felt like I was mentally, I was going down, or like physically I was going down like not a good path, not the greatest path, you know what I mean? There was still trauma from me as being a child that I was still trying to drown with, like drugs, alcohol, or a lot of things, you know what I mean? And but fighting was like my escape, you know. So I knew, okay, I need to stop that and just focus on this. And how I focus on that is by doing my mental work, by doing, like, just trying to connect myself, right? To myself, connect myself to myself, like not the anything exterior that's affecting me. I need to block it out and just go back in and think, right? So leading up to King of the Ring, and this was when I first found out I was going to be on it, right? And I was telling everybody, bro, like, watch what I do in this fight, like watch what I do in this show. Like I was telling everybody, like everybody that I know, you know, there was some people that was just like, oh, don't be too cocky, mate. Don't be too confident. You don't know. And I was just like, bruh, like, trust me, watch what I do in this fight. Like, watch what I do. And I was even like, I was telling my missus as well, right? My wife, I was telling my wife, like, leading up to it, I'm like, bruh, what should we do with the money? And then she's like, she's just like, I don't know. So we started planning what to do with the money before the actual fight, right? I go, because she wanted new earrings or something, so we went and bought earrings. And then I went and got me a chain. Just I'm like, I just need, because I never bought me anything with any of my fight money, right? And I was just like, I'm gonna give myself a gift right now. And this was probably like a month before the fight, right? And I went and got me a chain, and so I was just saying, but like, I'm gonna win this. Don't worry. You know, my mom being my mom, bro. She's like, oh, you know, yeah, okay, just be careful. Da da da.
Yeah.
And and I'm just like, bro, don't worry. I'm gonna say, when I got to the arena, bro, I was so zenned out that it was crazy. It was like a full on out of body experience. I was there, just didn't even feel like I was gonna have a fight. Like, to be honest, it was just like my heart rate was just at resting heart rate. There was no spikes. My trainer Ethan, he was actually way more nervous than me. So when he's talking to me, he's just like, just relax, hey, just relax. And I'm just like, bro, you relax, because you're making me nervous just by you being nervous. I'm like, just relax, bro. I got this. Don't worry. Just relax. We'll go out, do this first one, come back, do the second one, come back, do this third one. I already know what I'm gonna do. Like it you know, so the whole visualization thing, I saw it all play out. Just saw it all play out, and it was crazy. And then, like, when I had the belt, I was back in the hotel, in our hotel, and I was laying down in bed, bro, and I was just like, wow, like like, it's just that easy, you know what I mean? In terms of just like, obviously I put in so much work, right? But I felt like me seeing the outcome before it happened just made it happen.
Absolutely, bro. Manifested it.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, like, have you watched The Secret?
Yeah, bro. Yep.
So I remember my wife actually introduced me to The Secret, right? And I was thinking, Like, that sounds almost too good to be true. Okay. So like the whole visualizing thing, but then I think it's skewed a little bit because a lot of people think the visualization without the work, you know what I mean? Like, you got to do the work as well as the visualizations, right? Because you can't just visualize something and then expect it to happen without you actually helping the universe along with it.
You still have to go through the action, and the universe will present you with the things that you need to take on to get you to where you're trying to attune yourself as well. I'd love to get into manifestation at some point. Yeah, it's such a big key. Eh?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean,
But
right now, brother, like right now, I was so excited for this because I knew you had the knowledge that the world needed. You know what I mean? So it's just like you're the bridge from the universe to think, because I'm still on my spiritual journey that I still need to learn. I still need to, and just having people like you living in the same era as us, especially in these times, bro, you're very, very important. You know, the message that you're sending. So talk to me about it, bro. Talk to me about the manifestation and everything.
All right, powerful, and I appreciate that. I just want to say too, I was there for that King of the Ring fight too, bro, that you won.
Oh yeah.
And it was wicked, bro. I love your style, man. I love your style, and I love how you talk about having that deeper sense of self-awareness and how that helped you, because it would have helped you be present as well. And when you're present, you can flow with your environment, you know. And even for myself, I stopped fighting in 2013. I look back on my fights and I never even really trained footwork, bro. I would love to be able to get back in there now with the knowledge that I have now and the self-awareness that I have now. And actually, I think I would be a completely different fighter, but it's neither here nor there. I think manifestation is something that we are always doing. We are always manifesting things because everything is vibration. Everything is energy. So we are like a vibrational transmitter, and we are constantly sending out signals to the universe that is manifesting our reality, right? And if we don't consciously take charge of what it is we want to manifest into our reality, then it's just going to happen to us by accident through the means of our unconscious mind. So the unconscious or the subconscious mind is always running. Like, for example, you might say, I want to manifest 50K this year. I want to manifest $50,000 this year. But you've got a subconscious program running that says, I've never been good at making money, or I'm not worthy of making that much money. So that's an unconscious belief construct that is actually the bulk. It's probably 95% of what you're actually sending out to the universe. You know, or you might want to manifest the right partner for you. You want to say, like, I'm ready to find the person that I want to fall in love with, and all the rest of it. But in your subconscious patterns, your energetic blocks, your traumas, these deep subconscious patterns are saying, I'm not worthy of love, or I'm not good enough, or I'm this, I'm that. And that program is running. That is actually the energetic signal that you're sending out to the universe. And so what we can do through higher levels of focus, relaxed focus through meditation, I can start to get into a place of stillness. And then you can imagine like the waves of it on an ocean. The waves on an infinite ocean are just your thought patterns. You know, if I have a busy mind, I'm sending out mixed frequencies to the universe. You know, we spend so much time raking through the past and planning for the future, we're never really present. When we're present, when we're present, we're attuned to reality. Reality doesn't exist in the past, and it doesn't exist in the future. The only truth is right here, right now. This is where everything is. So where awareness goes, energy flows. So if my awareness and my attention is in the present moment, I am connected to something very powerful. And I know that you know what I mean as well. You know, there's more to this existence than just this physical body. You know,
100%.
We all have different words to use for whatever it is. The divine awareness, creation, the infinite field of consciousness that pervades everything. It's right here, and we are powerful beings. You know, and I almost want to go straight into just a little bit about meditation, because my understanding is we were born almost like a ball of light. You could imagine when we're born, we're like this light that's just, all we want to do is grow and expand. And you see it with your kids, eh? You see it with kids. They just want to explore everything. They're so confident. They're not worried about what people think. They're not worried about judgment or anything like that. They just want to explore and grow and expand and learn. And then somewhere along the line, we get the conditioning, whether that's the indoctrination into a certain society, certain belief constructs, traumas, like deep traumas, or even just lowercase traumas that like even just understanding or being told that you're a personality, you're a boy, you're a girl, you know, you're a New Zealander, all these labels that start to put us into a box. And what that does is it blocks the natural state. When the path of meditation, or the path of the spiritual path, is not necessarily gaining anything, it's realizing what has already been there the whole time. I'm already, this is one of the pointing out instructions from all the masters, and I'll just say it in my own words. The natural state of your mind is luminous bliss and love. The natural state of who you are is divine oneness with all existence. It's already here. It's not something that's going to come out from somewhere and suddenly it's like, oh my God, I got it. It's already here. We just need to get out the way. We need to get out the way because the tendencies of mind distort that, and our conditioning and our energetic blocks stop us from experiencing that. And so it's a long process of purification. We're purifying ourselves energetically, and there's many different pathways that we can take to this path of self-realization. And there's so much that I could go into from there. But to get back to the manifestation thing, I've done a lot of this work where you can tie it in with quantum physics as well. This idea of quantum reality, where I want to manifest a farm block. I want to manifest a farm block in an organic garden in a retreat center. And so what I do is I sit there, I visualize everything in as much detail as possible. I'm there, I can feel the land, I can smell the flowers, I can see the animals running, I can feel the abundance, I can feel the sense of gratitude that's flooding over me from being in this place. And then I feel it as if it is already done. I feel the gratitude for this reality in my future already being done. I'm attuning to that timeline that I know is already happened. And in the universe, it's like you're creating a vortex. You're creating a vortex, a pull from where you are right now to that future reality. It's all about attunement. I'm attuning to certain things within the vibrational field. And so I'm attuning to that future. And now what the universe is going to do is it's going to put you in that trajectory. But then, like you said, you have to notice the breadcrumbs that it's showing you, and you have to use action to go forward. It's like, oh, you want to do that? Well, here's something that you need to do first. You actually need to connect with this person. And through connecting with this person who's going to teach you organic gardening, you're also going to learn about pathways for abundance that are going to help you make money. And like for me, it's like I just started teaching meditation a few years ago, and I'm still not really making any money off that. It's just like a passion because I feel it's important to empower people with ways of developing themselves. But through that, now I'm teaching retreats. Now I'm teaching retreats, and it's just kind of like a natural unfolding has happened where my 10-year goal is actually looking like it's actually quite possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Through going through all these phases, and so that's one of the key things is visualize it as if it is already done, and gratitude as well. Gratitude is a powerful force because gratitude will tune you into a sense of receiving. I'm receiving this, and it's a feeling of something has already happened. So that's one of the massive keys. I read a whole book called Super Accelerated Living, and it talks about this, where you're constantly planting seeds for what you're trying to manifest. I'm constantly planting seeds for a vision of the way forward. And this is very important in the time that we're in right now as well. Yeah. Because what's going on in the world right now, when there's a mixture between a very deep responsibility of being aware of what's happening, and being responsible for where you put your time and energy. But that's also very dense. You know, if you look too hard at what's going on and try and get caught up into what's going on, it can pull you down. It's quite dense, and you're almost reinforcing the negative dream of what's going on. Oh, they're trying to do this, they're trying to do that. Yeah, they are, but we don't want to focus on that too much. I want to focus on what's the vision of the way forward. What's the highest possible timeline that we can get out of this, and I'm gonna manifest that. So there's a balance going on.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, for sure. I mean that's a good segue into what's happening right now, right? And I 100% believe that you know, with people focusing on the things that they don't have control over, that anxiety and that stress is just like, you know what I mean, it's amplified so hard. So when it's crazy because like I know people personally that have gone so deep into this, and it's consumed them to the point where they're sad all the time or they're angry all the time, and it's just like, bruh, if we separate from that and work on, you know what I mean, like that timeline of, you know, getting that balance, if we can do that, like, you know, because right now, right, with the state of the world and more importantly the state of New Zealand, right, you know, people are more like people, it's like fear induced, right? The stresses and the fear induced diseases right now. You get your immune system gets hammered when you're constantly in this state of stress. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, bro.
I watched one of your lives on thing when you were talking about the fight or flight. So, you know, when you're constantly in this state of stress, the blood rushes to your arms or your legs, and because like inside us, that instinct in us, it's like, okay, I'm about to fight this saber-toothed tiger. So so your immune system drops, and that's what it is, right? So when you're constantly in that state of stress, that fight or flight mode, everything else goes out the window. Like all your processes stop working because you're just ready to throw down, even though the threat is not right here in front of you. You're just ready to throw down. So that gives space for anything else to start entering your body and then just planting. Do you know what I mean? Like we just like what we've been shown on TV. It's constant fear.
It's constant fear propaganda, bro. And there's no room for creativity. It's never a good time to do a cartwheel when you're running away from a lion. You know, how can we be creative? How can we be open-minded and have important discussions when we're in survival mode? Exactly. And one of the other big things that happens psychologically when we're in survival mode is it activates our primal archetypes. Archetypes are kind of like psychological original constructs within us. I'll give you two of them. One of them is the victim, and one of them is the child. So when we're in survival mode or fear mode, we go into this victim mentality and we go into the state of the child. So if people haven't worked on their inner child, if you haven't like healed your inner child before, the qualities of the child is always looking for an authority figure to tell them what to do. So think about how that works right now when we've got media scaring the shit out of us constantly. And we're just in the state of like, oh my God, I'm so scared. Please tell me what to do. Mummy, daddy, government, tell me what to do. Like, that's no offense to anybody, but that's just basic psychology.
But that's what it is, right? That's exactly what it is. Because like the amount of people that I've spoken to, right, especially when you look outside of New Zealand, when there's information outside of this country, and then that you find, and there's a lot of things that contradict what we've been told. When I tell people about this, they're like, oh, that's a lie. It's because of da-da-da. And then it's just like, you're just repeating exactly word for word what the TV said to you. Like, so it doesn't make sense to me. Like, so I've fully gone off talking about these things to certain people because it's just like, bruh, you just want to be in this box. You just want to feel safe and get somebody to tell you what to do, how to think, because it seems like to you it's too much of like a stress or too much of a chore to think for yourself, right? And then
absolutely, they don't want to take the responsibility for what's going on right now.
Exactly.
They don't have the energy for that.
But they're very quick to judge other people who are speaking out, you know, and that's what gets me. Like I hate that. Hate's a strong word, but I really, really dislike people who can't think critically. And when somebody else is maybe questioning certain things, like it's good, we need to question everything, bruh. And that's what we're not really taught as children, is like, this is how it is, this is how it's always gonna be. You know, like when you ask why, you're being disrespectful. Okay. So like when that translates into our adult life, it's like, this is the rule. This is what you have to do. You stay in this box. Anytime you're out here, you're a bad person.
Yeah,
do you know
absolutely.
what I mean? You're a bad person.
And you know what it is too? It's the unhealed ego too. Because if you challenge somebody's belief, you're challenging their ego, because their ego has a hold on their beliefs. Yeah. So if you haven't dissolved your ego, like if my truth is that I'm nobody. You know? That's why I'm able to speak my truth and not worry about what people care about. I don't care what people think about me. I barely even take myself seriously. I'm just the observer. I'm just the witness, you know, and I'm just channeling what I feel is the next proper step. And I'm taking this very seriously because this is my son's life.
Yeah.
This is what's about to happen.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people, they're not thinking like that. We live in such a bubble wrap society, you know, and these people, they haven't really done any inner work. So they don't even realize they have ego, or they have emotional reactions that are connected with their constructs, their beliefs. And so when they get challenged on something that they believe in, they take massive offense to it. So anybody that's getting really offended or emotional, you probably don't have too much clarity. You know, like we should be having open discussions to find a deeper level of truth, not just saying I'm here, I'm there. And that's why I've had to try and pull back a little bit on trying to get my perspective across, because I'm realizing now there has already been a split. There has already been a split with some people. And I know I get lots of messages from people saying, thank you so much for speaking up, because I don't feel like I can in my environment, or too many people are scared to talk about it because it's taboo. It's like walking on eggshells. But it's like, for me, no, this is important to talk about. You know, this is the most important thing to talk about right now.
Exactly.
Because
things are changing really quickly, and you know, and people are just going along with it because they think, okay, if I follow what I've been told, everything's gonna get back to normal. It's just like, nah, I don't know. I think I saw something online where it's just like freedom for good behavior, like is do you remember that? It's like that's not life, that's prison. You know, you get freedom for good behavior. It's like, it doesn't make sense. And these people that like are real adamant, nah, this is, I'm like, no, bro, you don't actually see what's happening right now. You know, the reason why I'm so vocal with other people is because my kids are going to be affected, right? My kids are going to be affected. So I need to do this. I can't not speak out about this, because it's going to affect our kids. And if you don't see that, then man, I feel really sorry for you. But these guys, like there'll come a time where you'll thank people like yourself. You'll thank people who are talking out, who are seeing all this bullcrap, and actually trying to actively do something about it. Like there's going to be a time where all these people, and it's like, and it's not even going to be like an "I told you so" moment. It's just like, finally.
That's it, bro. Yeah.
Finally, you know.
That's what I'm really trying to do now, is create platforms and groups. So these things like peaceful protests or freedom gatherings, a lot of it is just about making you feel like you're not alone and creating community. So all these people who, you know, their job's safe right now, but soon their job's going to get threatened soon as well. And then suddenly all these mandates, these unlawful mandates, which are literally against the Bill of Rights, the Nuremberg Code, our basic human rights and sovereignty, suddenly they're going to get challenged, and they might have been trying to avoid this, you know, they might have been trying to avoid this whole thing. Like, I'm just avoiding it. I don't want to get involved in the energy. I just want to wait till everything goes back to normal. And then it's going to be right in their face, and they're going to go, wait a minute, things aren't going back to normal. Actually, they're ramping up. It's getting worse. Actually, yeah, I do need to stand up. I do need to stand up now and use my voice, because now it's affecting me. They need to be able to look out and see leaders and groups that are doing something about it. And then we can go, jump on board.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Unity, love. We got this. We got this. We got you. We got strength in numbers. We're already been doing this movement. We've been doing it. I seen this coming 2 years ago, you know, so it's like, jump on, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
And I just want to touch on something too, quickly, going back to this whole spiritual path thing too, because I went on a 3-week retreat once, and it was profound beyond words. I can't even put my experience into words, you know, like the capabilities of this human mechanism are beautiful. But then I came back into my town, and I just thought, wow, I'm just going to be pouring out all this love. I'm just going to be manifesting things here and there. I'm just going to be like, you know, everything's just going to be flow, and I'm never going to lose this feeling. And that's actually not the case. The integration into living in this society is hard. It pulls you back down. The people you're around pulls you back down. Walking into the supermarket, you actually become more sensitive to the energies around you. And you have to be very skillful, you know, skillful speech, skillful use of energy. These are 2 sayings from Buddhist teachings. And so we need to learn, this is what's really gotten me onto holistic health, basic ways that we can look after ourselves and look after our health. Like, for example, brother, let's just do a couple deep breaths now. I'll guide you through it, just in through the nose. Deep belly breath, belly, chest. So deep breath in and breathe out. Deep breath in and breathe out. We'll do that one more time. Deep breath in. And this time when you breathe out very slowly. And just relax. And just through those 3 breaths, we instantly take ourselves out of that survival mode. We tell our nervous system that we're safe. We tell our nervous system that there's no tiger chasing after us. You don't have to worry about anything. We gain our center back. We gain our balance. And these little keys are so important to just help people come back, because there's so much noise out there. There's so much noise. And when you start learning about what's going on, and you start learning about, oh man, I need to do this, I need to do that. How am I going to survive? All the rest of it. You've always got your breath. If you've got your breath, you can come back to your center, and you can just operate from what's the next step, you know? It's so important. But yeah, I don't know where you want to go with this conversation, bro. I could get into my perspective on what's going on and how I came about seeing what I'm seeing.
Yeah, brother, just talk. I mean, your mind is amazing to me, bro. So the more that I can download from you, the better I'll be, because obviously I'm on the spiritual journey, and you're the first guest, right? And you were gonna be the first guest. I just was like, I need the bro on, because I'm gonna learn so much from this. Like even just watching your flow state vids, I'm like, bro, this is exactly what I need, and this is exactly what so many people trying to deal with this crap that's happening right now need, bro. So just talk, brother. I'm recording everything, you know. Everything.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just so interested in all of this, and I have been for a long time. You know, I started this path when I got injured from fighting. I had a bad knee injury, 2014. I think I had, maybe it was late 2013. I fought Tony Angelov, one of the hardest fights I've ever had in my life, man. That dude hits hard. Oh, Big T, man, he hits hard. After that fight, I hurt my knee, and I was just stubborn. I went and fought in Australia. I went and fought in the world champs in Langkawi. And I was like, okay, I need to heal my knee. And that was a long journey. I haven't fought ever since, but going through knee surgery and going from training twice a day to being bedridden and being on a path of recovery put me into a bit of depression, but it fast tracked my spiritual path, put me back on the spiritual path. And then I really started to evolve faster and faster with my understanding and my experience. And that was about 7 years ago. And 7 years ago, I also started really tuning into the masters, I started studying the Yoga Sutras, Vedanta, all these masters, ancient masters, but also the modern masters, the modern holistic health practitioners like Paul Chek, or people who talk about epigenetics like Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's literally healing people of cancer through meditation techniques. He'll take them on a weekend retreat. There'll be 10,000 people, and people are healing their tumors. People are walking who were told they'll never walk again. They're walking. This is powerful science, and they're backing it up. They're hooking people up to, electrodes and reading their brain waves and all kinds of stuff. Functional medical doctors who have been talking about the state of the world that we're in, the medical mafia, the pharmaceutical companies who are actually they're actually contributing to more disease. And I just want to use, I'd like to use Monsanto as an example, because I've read a book called Oneness versus the 1% from Vandana Shiva. Vandana Shiva is like this powerful Indian woman, and she's all about regenerative agriculture and saving the seeds, environmental activist, and she's a quantum physicist, just powerful woman, right? And she talks about how Monsanto, this billion-dollar industry funded by Bill Gates is all over all of these things, right? And Monsanto came in with GMO seeds. GMO seeds were meant to be this new revolutionary thing. They're going to be bigger, stronger, more nutrient-dense plants. They're going to be able to withstand all these things. They're going to be able to stop pests. They're going to be able to have bigger yields, all the rest of it. That was all a lie. That was all a lie. None of that worked at all. The only thing they did is they can withstand the chemical farming, the herbicides like glyphosate and all these harmful chemicals, right? And farmers have the highest level of suicide in the world right now. All these farmers who are actually destroying the soil, and they're just realizing that they fucked up, and they're committing suicide and they're poisoning their family. Glyphosate is now intimately linked with autism, autoimmune disease, and cancer. So Monsanto has been sued multiple times now, and people have won against them because of them putting glyphosate in our food. And there's still glyphosate in our food. That's why the organic movement is so important, because these harmful chemicals that they're spraying on our food, it's not good for us. And I read this book and I can see things like these billion-dollar companies are so powerful. They can literally pay for a scientific institute to print scientific literature that supports their agenda. Yeah. And they can also pay media and PR firms to run spin articles on anybody that speaks up on it. And one of the most important things that I read from this book was the same 12 companies that fund big agriculture and Monsanto are the same companies that fund Facebook and big tech. And all of these people are the same people that are tied up with big pharma. And you can see how they have leverage over government entities, politicians, all of this stuff. And this is it's not even a conspiracy. It's actually right there. No, everybody knows about it. Yep. So I knew about this stuff before any of this pandemic stuff happened. I was watching this happening and I'm going, look, we are sleepwalking ourselves towards extinction. This is bad. Chronic disease. We're in the age of chronic disease right now. And we're basically destroying our environment. We're not heading in a good direction. And then this thing happens, whatever you want to call it. February last year, we get a big alarm bell goes off. Watch out. There's something that's in the air that's really dangerous. And my intuition went off. My red flags went up for me. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'll just watch. And all the people that I was tuned into, all of these really high level, highly intelligent scientists, doctors, holistic health experts, masters, they were the ones that put up the red flags and said, look at this. We need to pay attention to this because I can see what's happening. And so I was tuned into the right people. I was blessed to be tuned into the right people. I remember that first week of lockdown, I spent the whole first week studying we'll call them bananas.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Studying the banana.
So I studied the bananas for about a week, 6 hours a day. I went deep, man. I mean, we're in lockdown, so I was like, okay, I'll go into full study mode. And I was shocked, man. I was shocked at the history of these things.
Yeah.
Just terrible. And then I start looking into organizations. I start looking into predictions for what's coming, and all the predictions start coming true. And then I look at things like the PCR test, for example. Kerry Mullis is the one who invented it. He got a Nobel Prize for it. He's the one that's saying this was never meant to be a diagnostic tool. It was never meant to be a diagnostic tool. It's too sensitive, and you can actually adjust it to make it more sensitive. So you can get a positive result, and it's not even a positive thing. Okay, and then you go, where did it come from? Where did this scary thing that's in the air? Where did it come from? Well, you've got the Chief Health Minister, Dr. Fauci, who's now being grilled, saying, "Look, you funded the gain of function for the Wuhan lab."
Yeah.
So everything's pointing to that's where it came from. The PCR test doesn't work. And so all the media is doing is pushing case numbers, fear. So why are they doing this? Everybody said, well, it's because they want to do mandatory bananas.
Yeah.
That's where this is heading.
Yeah.
And then I get called a conspiracy theorist, and everyone gets called a conspiracy theorist. And then now here we are. And I've been watching a lot of things going on. There's a lot in the pipeline, and I see if we come into New Zealand, what's happening in New Zealand is they've been very smart about it, very smart about how they systematically get us into a place where we don't notice the reshaping of society. For example, we've been in, is it 3 lockdowns now? 3 lockdowns we've had here now.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the first one, then we had the second one. We had this third one, and I called it as well. I said, let's pay close attention to when they pull us out of this lockdown, any added restrictions that they put on. And so after this last lockdown, they said, everything's going back to normal, but you still need to wear a mask, Yeah. And so they never did that before. When this was some random, thing that's potentially going to kill you, they never did that. But now they've done it. They've added in this sort of restriction. I've done plenty of research on masks. Listen to countless people say that they don't work. Not only do they not work, but they actually lower your immune system. You're breathing your own carbon dioxide, creates bacteria in your mouth. There's a reason they don't put them on kids. How come kids don't have to wear them? Because it's not good for them. It's a bad look too.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Having this on here, it's reminding everybody that we're in this. We need to be vigilant. There's something scary going on.
Yeah, it's a visual thing, right? It's a visual thing.
It's a symbol. It's a symbol for what's going on, reminding people, don't forget about this. This is why we're doing all these crazy things. And so it's worrying for me to literally be able to predict everything that's happening to a T. And that tells me that not only was this planned, but I can see where this is going as well. And I can see where there's a big push to control the masses right now. It's a big push to control the masses, And people say, well, why are they doing this? Well, I'm just trying to think of how deep I want to go with this.
Hey, go as deep as you want, brother.
Yeah.
This is really interesting to me.
Yeah. So there's already patterns for a social credit system now, right?
Yeah.
And what's happened with these lockdowns is we're basically just printing money. We're basically just printing billions and billions of dollars. This is so unsustainable, like the American dollar is just, the economy has almost already crashed. Like the idea of money is just, it's so ridiculous right now because we're just printing money. And what's going to happen? The economy is going to crash. Okay. The banking system is going to crash. It has to. And it's probably going to be sometime in the next 6 months. And that's going to be a really easy thing for them to do what they've wanted to do. I've seen, countless things that prove this, but basically they want to bring in a cashless society and a social credit system. What that means is you will need to scan in everywhere you go to be able to take part in society. And that will have your birth certificate, your bank account details, your medical status. And they're going to be able to do this because they're going to be able to do it under health and safety because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Yeah, so it's all about health and safety. Well, if we want to participate in society, we need to do this. Global warming as well. So this was also in that book, Oneness versus the 1%. They talk about what is it, geoengineering. So geoengineering, you can find this. This is not like a theory or anything.
Yeah.
Bill Gates has a patent on it. He spent billions of dollars on it. So they do all these kind of things. They're spraying things in the air that literally block out the sun because the sun's too hot, or all these kind of things. Global warming is a massive issue. That's going to be a big thing for rolling out the social credit system, because they're going to tell us that we need to monitor everybody very closely so that we're doing our best to help global warming.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing that I've been following for a long time is what we really need to do if we care about global warming. We need to heal the soil again. We need to stop spraying these chemicals in the soil, because this healthy soil is all you need to sequester carbon dioxide. Stop doing monocropping, just rows and rows and rows and rows of corn for one season, and then it's just a sand dune for the rest of winter or whatever. Like, get back to organic and regenerative farming, and then the natural ecosystem will start to heal itself. More trees, more bees, like it's just so illogical what these people in charge are pushing. But I can feel that that's coming through, and it's in the near future. And because they're going to start with these passports, they're going to start with these mandatory passports that they've got going on right now. And so what you've got now is small businesses just losing money, the economy's crashing, pharmaceutical companies are making billions of dollars, and we're all being put into this kind of deeper control system where we're now back in Nazi Germany, where we have to show our papers to go to the
Exactly. Hey, show me your papers. Yeah.
Show me your papers.
It's funny how people aren't making that connection, right? It's because I know it would never happen in New Zealand, because there's a lot of things that we thought would never happen in New Zealand that's happened in the last 2 years. Like, why are we ignoring the fact that, hey, what you're feeling is not good? You know what I mean? What's happening? That feeling that you have, Mel, shit, something's wrong. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore that feeling. You know what I mean? Because it's just like, you can only look the other way for so long before this comes and gets you. Do you know what I mean? So there's the danger right there. Just because you look over here, the lion's gonna still come and eat you just because you can't see it. Some people think that, when as a child, right? And when you close your eyes, you think the danger's gonna go. You're not there. I can't see, so that means they can't see me, right? So that's what people are doing. Like, I'll just close my eyes and pretend it's not there. But then when you open your eyes, the danger's right in front of you now. People
Absolutely,
think that just be out of sight, out of mind. That doesn't work right now. That doesn't work in these times. The out of sight, out of mind thing, it doesn't work. Like, it's going to affect you. It's going to affect your kids. All of this is all connected, right? So
yes, bro.
The more you try and ignore, the worse it's going to become.
Yep.
Right? So the more you're trying to ignore, the worse it's... So do you know much about the RFID chips?
No.
So, bro, I watched this because this was like my same family members, my same cousins that got me into watching Pride and all of that stuff, right? And we were like real close, like, we just like, there was a lot of like, the what's it with the wacky tobacco, like we had a lot of that. We had a lot of that, right? So we used to always just have
medicina.
The letters the devil's letters, right? So we used to have that, and then watch all these videos, and like these dudes, like all these conspiracy videos, and they were just like, bro, this is and this was probably like maybe, I don't know, 12 years ago, bro. We were watching like all of this stuff, and I was telling people, like, there was an ad, right? There was an ad, and it was like it was kind of like a future ad, but made then, right, about this guy. They had this guy, it was an RFID chip ad, and it was kind of telling us what's going to happen, right? And this was 12 years ago. I don't know if the video is still on YouTube, but so basically it's this guy, right? He's running around the shop, grabbing things, and then he just walks out, walks out the gate, and this lady stops him, and then she's like, "Excuse me, sir," and he turns around and she's like, "You forgot your receipt," because he's got that chip in him that has all of his details, all of his money, all of his, you know what I mean? So, and it was a real smart way of thinking. Like, how cool would that be if you just grabbed your stuff and then cruised? You know what I mean? But the thing with that is there's absolutely no control. Like, you have no control over anything anymore. Everything's in there. Everything's in there. Where you're being, where you're going. Like, and when I watched that, and I've told people over the years that this RFID chip, and there's companies there was a company in Germany that started implanting these things, and people talk about, the microchip and stuff. Oh, your conspiracy theories, your conspiracy theories. Like, bro, this is actually happening in certain factories in Europe. Like, they have to get this implanted into them, right, to keep their job. And like, anybody can go search it out. You just search up RFID chips, and in Germany, people were like, "Yeah, we finally got that thing," and that's gonna happen everywhere.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, yeah. It's crazy, man. Oh man, I just lost my train of thought. There's a few things coming up for me. We can look right now to what's happening in Australia, and see that if you go out and protest in Australia, you get shot at with rubber bullets. Like, they're shooting at people with rubber bullets right now. It's full on totalitarianism over there.
Yeah.
If you look at China, like, we don't even know what's happening in China. China's like blocked off right now. I've seen videos of like kids lining up, getting their barcode scanned, full mask going in. And that's right. There's a spiritual component to this too. Like, I have a friend who she's very clued up with common law, and she's been studying common law for over a year now. And it is crazy when you start learning about the word magic that they use.
Yeah.
And so our birth certificate is basically declaring us a dead entity owned by the government.
Yeah.
Corporation is dead man walking. Government means to govern the mind. So, like, all of these things, it's like, how did we even get here? So the idea that they're going to try and put a chip in you that's for your safety and it's for luxury, and the mind control tactics are so strong. It's just completely against our own personal sovereignty. Like, we are sovereign beings of Mother Earth. That's it. I'm just a man, like, when people ask me who I am, especially if it's a policeman, for example, if I say my full name that's on my birth certificate, I'm automatically going into a contract with them. It's like, now we're in contract. But that's not the deeper truth. The deeper truth is, I'm just a man of the earth. And that's how it should be.
Yeah.
This is where those deeper control things come in, and not everybody's going to be on board with that. But that's okay. Like, I see this whole thing, it's already falling apart. From certain lenses, it's already falling apart, and we need to get into the spirit of that. There's a lot of people, I think, like you said, your friends just sitting there watching videos, and saying, "Oh, this is happening. There's a lot of people that are getting that feeling that something's not right. Some people, they might just give in, or some people, they might be, no, I trust the government. It's like, blessings to you. We're all in this together anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
I have to really catch myself a lot, just releasing control and just allowing the river of change to change, because my opinion is that we are definitely not going back to normal. There is no going back to normal.
Not at all.
There's going to be there's a massive split. If we allow the government to do what they want to do, they're going to completely restructure this whole society. It's going to be a transhumanism world, basically smart cities. Everything's interconnected through your device or whatever they want to implant on you. And then there'll be the people who refuse to, and we're going to be in a parallel society that's going to have to be very self-sustainable. That's why right now, a lot of people in my community, we're creating community gardens. We're creating people who want to teach the children, all of this kind of stuff. And people are going to realize when they start saying that it's mandatory for kids.
Yeah.
When they say it's mandatory for your kids to take the banana in the arm to go to school, people are going to really start waking up. And those people who maybe, like I expected more mana. I honestly expected more mana from New Zealand. I saw when they came up, when they brought the mandates into France was like, hell no.
Hell
and they
no.
had tens of thousands of people in the streets. They're protesting every week. Yeah, I don't know. I expected a little bit more from New Zealand. I was at the Wellington protest on the weekend, and it was powerful. It was
Yeah,
powerful,
brother. I felt that energy just watching your videos.
bro. Good energy, and we're just like marching down the street, playing Bob Marley, and it's all love. It's all
Yeah.
aroha. It's all like, let's go. You know, we're just standing up for who we are, and I'm not even against anybody. You know, like even if you're shouting at me saying that I'm a danger or whatever, it's just like, I feel for you. I feel for you. You know, but it's not going to slow me down because, like you said, this is about our kids' future. What kind of future are our kids coming into? And I think a really good point too for everybody to understand is just if we start to talk about these things in the arm, you know, there's a lot of heat around this. It's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
But what I'll say is we can learn a lot from watching other countries because a lot of countries are ahead of us, right?
Yeah.
A lot of countries have already done their rollout, you know, over a year ago. And so if you look at countries like Uttar Pradesh and India, you know, this is one of the things that I've been talking about is alternative medicines.
Yeah.
So ivermectin.
Is that in Delhi?
Is
that in Delhi? That's in Delhi,
yeah,
right?
Delhi, bro. Yep.
Yeah.
I've actually got a scientific article that says it's in over 20 countries now, and Japan just took it on as well.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. So Uttar Pradesh is a good one because there's 120 million people there and a densely compact population. And what they did is they just sent out a wellness pack to every single household, vitamins, minerals, certain medicines, and no lockdowns, no bananas in the arm. And if anybody gets the C word, then they just give them ivermectin, they take them in, they make sure they're okay, and basically within 5 weeks they beat it. They beat it. There's no pandemic there. There's a couple cases, no deaths. This is 120 million people, and they've got it sussed. They've done it, right? And now let's look at all these countries who are pushing mandates and pushing these things in the arm at a mass scale, at a national scale, you know, 70%, 80%, you know, our government's saying we need to get to 90%. All these people are in a worse situation than they've ever been. Things are getting worse. There's more variants, there's more deaths, there's more case numbers. Things are getting worse. Now, if we look at New Zealand, we've had, can I say the C word, or we want to?
Yeah. No. It's just the banana word.
Yeah. So we've had COVID in New Zealand for 2 years now.
Yeah.
We've had over 5,000 cases. Those cases have been linked to churches, supermarkets, events, all of that stuff. We can basically say that it's in the environment, it's in the communities, right? And within that time, we've had, I don't know, like 20 something deaths. Yeah. And now we've got a lot of people that have probably had it and they've got natural immunity now. You know, and the case numbers all depend on who you're testing as well. I'm sure if you tested every single person would have thousands of cases, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So now we've done this big rollout. They're telling us that we're nearly at 90% banana rate. And you would think that if these are safe and effective, then things are about to get better. You know, everybody who's on board with the government narrative, you must be thinking that things are about to get better. We're on our track to going back to normal. My instincts, my knowledge, my ability to look and study and see tells me that we're in for a shit show. Where things are about to get a lot worse. Yeah. Things are about to get a lot worse.
Yeah, I believe that.
And as things get worse, it's going to allow them to bring in deeper restrictions. It's going to allow them to do what they've been doing the whole time, changing the laws while nobody's looking, while everybody's distracted and scared. They're just going to do whatever they can. They might try and say that there's a national emergency and bring in the military, all of this kind of stuff, you know, and if things start to get worse, we really have to wake up. We really have to open our eyes and say, how come things didn't get better? You know, how come this miracle thing that was meant to help is actually making it worse? And they're going to blame it on us. They're going to blame it on the people that didn't take it. They're going to try and create more divide. The media is going to create more divide. And so this is what I see happening, you know, and we need to be psychologically and spiritually prepared for this. You know, we need to be strong. That's why a lot of what I'm trying to push right now is let's get healthy. Let's get real healthy because winter's just around the corner. We need to have strong immune systems. We need to come together as community because, you know, if we have to protest every weekend until something changes, then we'll do it, you know?
So be it.
let's
You
just
know?
do it. Let's just
Yeah.
do it. You know, and I'm going to look around and I'm going to say, look, I've been protesting with tens of thousands of people. None of us are getting sick.
Exactly.
None of us are getting sick.
People aren't even questioning that, you know, like I'm gonna talk about it next week, like during the week, like with certain people. Like, bruh, you know, I guarantee, like, you know, no one's gonna say like our numbers, if our numbers shoot up, I guarantee none of those guys that got there that have the vid were at that protest. Do you know what I mean?
Bro.
Like these guys,
Yes.
but it's mental that they make those connections, right? And so the with the cases and how they you know, because we went so hard on the deaths, right? But then when the deaths stop, now we're pushing the cases, right? Oh,
Yes.
look at this, and then that's just keeping people in that fear state. So the deaths don't matter anymore. It's the case numbers. I know 4 people in Hamilton that had it, right? And I know them close. I was a close contact to a close contact to 2, right? So I had to quarantine for 14 days as well, at one stage. And so this is it's so weird to me. So we got an email from the Ministry of Health, right? And they said that close contact, like for a household, you're 50% likely to catch it. Somebody else in your household is 50% likely. For a close contact, you're 0.5% likely to catch it. And I was just like, how is that even possible? Why? So I was talking to one of the bosses, one of the managers, and then I was just like, do you guys not see this shit? Like, we all got the email. Like, why aren't they saying this 0.5% chance of catching it? Me and the bro who got it, we see each other every single day. We like hugs, you know, like everything. And like, I'm the only one that sees him, okay? Because he's one of my boys, and like, and for him to not give it to me, like I seen him the day he got infected, every single day after it, you know, like my immune system's pretty solid. Like I trust in my immune system.
Yeah.
But
healthy, train.
Yeah. So, but even that, like with the Ministry of Health, 0.5%, you know, and my mom's a surgical nurse, right? So she knows a lot of this is, you know, there's a lot of fuckery happening, but she's just like, she has to do what she needs to do, right? And I told her about it, and I told her, I go, what? And she goes, yeah, well, you know, that it's she didn't really know what to say, because it's just like, I go, what? It sucks. I go, if people just knew it, that'll save so much anxiety and stress. Like people will just come back to,
bro, that's it.
Suicide's gone up over something that you're 0.5% likely to catch, you know? And it's crazy, because when I got that out, and I'm at home and I'm talking, because I got a call. I had to get a call every single day, had to do a survey every single day while I was on quarantine. Do you feel this? Do you feel that? You got any symptoms? And I'm like, nah. And the bro that had it had 0 symptoms. Like there was nothing, right? The other 3 dudes, 2 of them had no symptoms. One had just had a really bad headache for 3 days, like real bad.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And like, they're fairly healthy people, you know? And I was just like, bruh, 0.5%. Why isn't this lady that stands up there every week here, every day, not saying that shit? Like, hey, the country I'm supposed to look after and love, don't worry, it's only 0.5% chance that you're going to get it. Like me and the bro, basically, like we hug, handshake, everything, talk with each other real close. Like, but I didn't get it. You know what I mean? And it's like, and the people that did get it, think so, you know, based on that this is not about our health, right?
Absolutely, bro.
100% not about our health. The numbers have been padded. Like we just had that guy getting shot, and they classed that as a, like, he got shot.
I was just thinking that,
with a real bullet, with a real gun, like shot, died, couldn't get resuscitated, get added to the COVID death numbers. Like,
added to the COVID death numbers, bro.
People are just gonna just like,
and they've been doing that since day one. So how can you trust the numbers?
Yeah.
And you know, there's one other thing that I came across too, which is America has the highest death toll for the vid, right? Like other countries, not too bad,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of fear around it because the numbers were so high in America. But I came across this thing, and there's heaps of science that backs this up. Anybody that went into hospital and they tested positive, they were giving them remdesivir. Remdesivir is the wrong drug for the job. So they did all these studies in China of like what happens when somebody gets the virus,
Yeah.
and then they give them remdesivir. They had to stop the trial after 6 months because everybody died. This is the drug that they gave them in hospitals. And so what were they giving them in hospitals last year in America? They were giving them the wrong medicine. They were putting people on ventilators, which is the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
And these doctors were getting paid for it. So, this is what was happening. They were killing people. And also, it was in that thing that I shared yesterday with that video, somebody gets shot. It's a straight up homicide, and they put it down as a COVID thing. But I was talking about how the World Health Organization, they told us at the start of this whole thing, they made it sound so bad. They made it sound like people were dropping dead in the streets of Wuhan. We saw videos of full hospitals in Italy. That same video, of people of full hospitals in Italy, that video got snapped being used in other countries.
Yeah.
Other countries were using that same video.
Yeah.
So what's going on? Okay, is it like that? They told us 3.2% death rate. Untrue. So many doctors around the world were shouting, saying, no, you can't say that. It's not true. It's not true. And they said, okay. 5 months later, it's less than 1% chance. Okay, we get it. If you're under 70, it was like 0.02%, which is the flu. It's the flu. And it happened in the middle of flu season over there too.
Yeah.
And this is it. If you take away the fear of this thing, then it changes the whole game. And that's why a lot of people can't jump on board, because they do think it's such a serious thing, and we need to take all these precautions. But that's been one of the major things. A good example of this too, as far as why people can't see it. I have a friend, my friend who's studying common law. She just got a job at a school, and so now she's being told she has to get the banana in the arm, otherwise she'll lose her job. But she was onto it, and she's been tuned in with like Voices for Freedom. She wrote up a big template and a big email to send to the principal, and she knows the principal. She's been talking to him about things like, oh, they're saying it's mandatory, but is mandatory actually a law? Is there a difference between legal and lawful and all the rest of it? Yeah. But she sends him this email with a whole bunch of questions, and she says, hey, look, I'm open to taking it, but first of all, I need you to tell me, first of all, can you prove the threat of the vid? Can you prove that these things that I'm taking are safe and effective? Are you aware of the experimental status? Are you aware of, are you liable if anything happens to me? And there was like 5 other questions, really good questions. And straight away, the principal goes, well, I can't answer these questions. Yeah. He goes, you're gonna have to send it to someone else. It's not me. He says, it's coming from up there. What can I do about it? And she goes, no. Your name is on the email that you're sending me, telling me that you're going to terminate me. If you can't answer these questions, like, you need to take responsibility. Yeah. And this is what it's. And I feel for these employers. I feel for the employers that are getting pressure, because I don't know what it's like. I don't know if they're going to get fined if they don't go through with it or something like that. But the responsibility. I mean, our Prime Minister Jacinda, if she just come up on news and just said, hey, look, it's mandatory for everybody. Everyone, it's mandatory. There would be an uproar. There would be hundreds of thousands of people protesting. Yeah. But this is how skillful they are. Subtle, eh? Yeah, it's sneaky, man. Real sneaky, real. It's deception at its finest. They're bringing it through the employers, but we need to put pressure on the employers. Unfortunately, if you're an employer, you need to step up and take responsibility now for health and safety. And she's saying, look, you can't give me something that's experimental that could potentially harm me. You don't even know if it's effective. In fact, they didn't even test it for transmission. You can still get it. You can still transmit it. And you're telling me that it's mandatory. You're also telling me that at a certain date, I'm not a threat to my environment now, but at a certain date next week, I will be a threat, and I can't walk on the premises, and you're allowed to call the police, and it'll be a fine for me to go there. Do you think that's right? And all these employers, they know. How could you not? Because it's that feeling, right? A lot of these people are starting to wake up and go, actually, yeah, that doesn't make sense, you know?
No. Yeah.
And where's, for me, it's like, I knew the mandates would be a tipping point for people. And I can see that it has been, but I also see for a lot of people, they still haven't reached their tipping point. They're still holding on to the narrative, like, no, we're just, they're just doing their best, you know? It's just 3 weeks to flatten the curve. And then it's, you know, we've got some new cases, so we're just going to see how the next few weeks looks. But there's tipping points for different people. You know, my tipping point was last year.
Yeah.
You know, I was ready to protest last year. I saw all this. I was like, nah, I can see what's happening. But for a lot of people, it might be, you know, when they
my tipping point was Kia New Zealand. And like, okay, here we go.
That's right. Yeah, we need to be careful because it might get into other countries. All right, let's see what happens. But you know, the tipping point, you know, it might be for all these other employers who are watching this unfold. Hopefully, they're starting to do some real research or connect with people who know what's going on. And when the mandates start coming through them, they can make the decision to go, actually, I'm not going to discriminate. I'm not going to discriminate against anybody. You know, like I'm a gym owner, and I've got a big sign out the front now that says, you know, whether you've had the thing or not, you're welcome. Unity, you know. And I'm gonna do a big sign out the front that just says, "United we stand, together we fly." You know, I'm trying to raise the vibration that we're all in this together, and the power of love and unity can overcome anything. You know,
that's powerful, bro.
Well, this is the powerful key too, because we're in a psychological and a spiritual war right now too.
100%.
And this is where the fear comes in. They're trying to keep us at a low vibration, and they're trying to divide us, right? Divide and conquer. It's the oldest strategy in the history of, you know, civilizations. And so we need to rise above that. It doesn't matter if I have a different perspective than you. If I can come from a place of love and unity, then I'm coming from a place of empowerment. And you know, the power of love has the power to heal and the power to create. You can't love, you can't fuck with it, honestly.
Nah.
Like, it doesn't matter who it is. Is it going to be a policeman? Some policeman's going to try and tell me that I need to move or something, and I'm just going to be like, bro, I love you. I love you, but I'm just standing up for my human rights. This is my basic human rights. You know, this is right. You know, I'm not here to fight you, but I'm not going to back down either, you know? It's powerful, man. It's powerful. Like, I watched, I think it was Italy. There was thousands of people, and they were in the square, and they were just doing chanting, just chanting, you know, and it's a powerful wave. The media is always going to portray us in certain ways, but what I'm trying to do is push that, you know. Let's keep our vibration high. This is meant to be the great awakening, you know. As we move into this parallel society, it's going to be beautiful, you know. We're kind of moving in a direction that needed to happen anyway, to become more connected to our earth, to become more connected to our mother and our environment. We've been disconnected for too long, brother, you know. Disconnected for too long.
We have been, and people are slowly waking up. You know, there's this great awakening. You know, people who are really staunch are slowly waking up, and it's beautiful to see. And it's not even a point of like I said before, like, and I told you so. It's more like, come, bro, like.
That's it.
Let's just do this. Like, this is us. It affects all of us, bro. So whether you're like how you were isn't how I'm gonna treat you now. You know what I mean? Like, you're part of the team. You were always part of the team. Just your views were different, you know. But now you're actually seeing what's happening, and it's not. I'm not gonna say I told you so, bro, because I was waiting for you to come. So now we're all on this path together, you know.
And I totally understand it too. I understand why people have, you know, like I said, I was blessed to be so kind of tuned into all the people that pointed these things out for me. If I wanted to go and research certain things, I knew the channels to go through. Whereas a lot of people, they're just caught up in, you know, I know what it's like with kids too. You got a relationship, you got kids, you got a job, you ain't got time to do research. You ain't got time, you know, and if you trust your government and I get it. Like, I have compassion for all those people. One of the things I've had to really catch myself on is trying to save everyone. I'm like, I get caught up trying to save everyone, and it actually drains me. It drains me more often as well. And I have to let that go, you know. Some people, they're gonna, you know, and it's sad. It's sad to think that, you know, a lot of people are going to get hurt from this. You know, families, it's going to be a lot of trauma. You know, we're already dealing with so much intergenerational trauma right now for our generation from generations back. Now that's going to happen again. There's going to be more trauma. There's going to be more families that lose their loved ones unnecessarily, and there's going to be so now we're going to need to heal the community again. And brother, it's like
it's super important, right? And when you talk about generational trauma, it's something that we can't ignore also, so we got to also actively be trying to work on that aspect. Like, these things happen, it's built into us, right? We need to take a good look at ourselves and start working on it, because that's the only way we can all move forward, right? So a lot of people are still stuck in this mental state. Well, actually, we went and saw one of my wife's friends yesterday, who's not really going, not really having a good time handling all the stuff. And then, like, she was talking about like her past traumas and all of that, and she was asking me, how do you deal with that? How would you, like? And I go, you have to understand that that happened, right? So if you keep ignoring it, if you still try and suppress it, if you think that it didn't happen, it's never going to go away. You have to go, and it's going to be hard going back into that space. It's going to be hard because you're going to start feeling the same feelings, all of that. But you start working on it. You start working on it, and then eventually it gets better. You learn how to deal with it. You understand, like, because of that, right? You became this person. Like, you've got all this extra, you got all this extra knowledge that you can pass on to other people that are going through this right now.
That's it. Once you heal it, you now have the ability to see that in others, and I see a lot of this in breathwork. Like, I took a breathwork ceremony last night. Breathwork is so powerful, man. Like, I do one where it's like a holotropic breathwork where everybody lies down. We play music, and you're constantly breathing for about close to an hour. And it takes you into a very altered state of consciousness, and it opens you up. And in that space, what happens is our energetic blocks and our emotional traumas come to the surface. And the way you deal with that is you have to feel them. You have to feel it to heal it, Everything that you push under the rug is always going to be there. That's such a big part of the spiritual journey, is healing. And you sometimes you don't realize the weight of something you've been holding until you feel the weight of its release. And then you feel lighter. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize I was holding on to so much self-judgment. Or whatever it is, or so much trauma, And like, I'll take these breathwork ceremonies, and people, they'll just start crying. They'll just start crying for 5 minutes straight, just getting it out. They didn't even realize. And afterwards, their hearts open. Afterwards, they're like, oh my God, like, I let it go. I let go the trauma of a family member's death, or a relationship, or just compacted stress over years and years and years that gets held in the body. That's the somatic teaching, and I feel like what's happening right now is, like, people are being forced to look in the mirror. So many people have been running away from themselves through escapism, through being addicted to food and drugs and TV. And now it's like, no, you need to step up and take responsibility. But to do that, you need to you need to be yourself. You need to be your authentic self and tune into your own power.
100%. But
to do that, you got to go through the fire of, self-awareness and self-investigation, self-discovery. And if people don't have experience with that, and you're just starting to wake up to it now, it's a hard time. But all you got to do is feel it. Like, if you need to crack open. Go through it. You got to go through the fire, and you will come out the other side.
I read this book, stress proof brain. Have you heard of that book? So basically, it's like all your anxiety, all that feelings that you have now, it stems from certain traumatic experiences that happened in your past, right? And there's exercises that I did in the first couple of chapters that, like, took me back, and I had to, like, it was just like this, I had to go back to certain things, and all the feelings, and like the anger and the sadness and all of that stuff came came back, right? And then like as I was reading it, I was actually I had it on Audible. As I was listening to it, like I went for this long walk, bro, and all of that just started coming out, bro. And I was just like, holy shit, like this is, and then I got through it, you know what I mean? And it's just like, boom.
Yes,
and that was just like, even though like consciously I knew it wasn't there, right? But subconsciously that feeling was always there, so consciously I could just be doing my own thing in life. And then a thought comes or a feeling comes, right? But then after I dealt with it, boom, I could focus on other things now. You know what I mean? So it's really important to be real self-aware, because how you act, how you talk, how you react to certain things, that stems from somewhere, right? And if we can break that down to where exactly did this stem from, right? Or it could be a number of things, but the initial start working on that, boom, and then you go step, you know what I mean?
And you need the suffering, the suffering is the catalyst for your growth as well. Like there's one of like a story of the Buddha, where the monk comes to the Buddha and says, I haven't reached enlightenment yet, like how can you help me or whatever? And the Buddha just looks at him and says, not enough suffering, like go out into the world, go be honest, go suffer, because when you go through that, it humbles you, and I can speak to one of the most profound experiences for me was sitting with ayahuasca, which is the plant medicine, the psychedelic plant medicine from Peru.
One of my dreams, one of my bucket lists, and I told my wife this, I want to go sit in Peru, go to where Machu Picchu, go sit on one of the monuments there and just have some ayahuasca and just chill. And
bro.
That's actually my dream, and it's been that for like so long. Like, because we talk about like our goals and stuff like that. And honestly, like being happy, that's the goal that I teach my kids. Like, I don't care what you do in your life. The number one thing is you need to be happy. You need to do things that make you happy. Like the money and all of that stuff is irrelevant, because if you're not happy, then nothing matters. Do you know what I mean? So I don't care what you do. If you want to do like whatever you want to do in your life, I'm happy. I'm good with that. I don't care what you decide to do with your life, as long as you're happy. And that's my thing, And
that's
so the Machu Picchu thing, I tell my wife, I'm just like, bro, like that's gonna be me, like that's gonna be us. We'll fly there. Like I'm always looking at flights, like I think we were looking at it in 2018 or 19, just to go there. I said I just need at least 3 hours to myself, just sitting there and just breathing it all in. And that's like a major goal of mine.
Same here, bro. I've always wanted to go to Machu Picchu. And your desires, like you were saying, your desires are tuning forks for your highest path. It's leading you in a direction of happiness. It's leading you in a direction of your soul's highest path, And I know people, bro, I might be able to start something up for you.
Hey, let's go, baby. Let's go.
I've done it a few times, bro, with some really powerful shamans, and it's beyond words, powerful experience. Like to be in another realm that's more real
in New Zealand
right now.
Hey, let's go. Cut me off.
Bro. Yeah. But you know what? It was powerful because I had to relive my entire life. Relived my entire life, man. And all my meditation practice really helped. It really paid off. Like it's a purge. It's like there's a spirit there that wants you to purge out everything that's not serving you anymore and get rid of it all, But I'd already done a lot of work on myself. So I'm just sitting there channeling information. It was like I was just getting constant downloads. And people around me are like spewing in buckets and going through all this stuff, and I've been through that space as well. But I one of the powerful things that happened for me was I connected with my ancestors, and I really I could feel it on a very powerful visceral level, where I could tune into them, and I could feel that so much of what we are is how we lived in those times. That's how we formed. That's how our heart and our mind works. Is like we would have lived in tribes, we would have had to be our authentic self. We would have had to live with the natural world. We would have had to live and flow with the seasons and the earth. We would have realized that everything is sacred. And that's actually why I like multiculture as well, because it's so, it recognizes the sea as like an archetype, as an entity. It recognizes the land, the trees, the earth,
grounded,
Wanganui, you know, it's like we recognize all these things as sacred. And when you recognize something as sacred, you're like invoking magic into that, you know. It's like it's a powerful way to be. But realizing that the way our ancestors lived and the way that they understood the environment in this life, we're so disconnected from that in a society. So disconnected. And it's just we've landed ourselves in such a weird situation where we're not only disconnected from ourselves but our environment, and there is a movement back towards that, you know. We're moving back into a place where we're living more in harmony, you know. And when I was sitting with the medicine, one of the biggest things for me was I feel like honestly I got like 10 years worth of work done in one night. And it was like I realized I was a leader, but I was holding back because of self-judgment. I was holding back because of self-judgment. And I came out of that realizing that I wanted to start a full-time gym. I was already training fighters, but I was kind of like, you know, in and out, injured, all the rest of it. I was like, no, I'm going to start a full-time gym. I'm going to teach kids, teenagers, and I'm going to create a holistic center, and I'm going to teach breathwork and meditation to my community because I know how important it is. Within a week, I found the spot that I'm in now. Within a week, it was like there was like a guiding force that was pushing me. It was pushing me towards growth in every aspect of my life. You know,
the universe provides.
Universe provides, bro. And we can look at this. What's going on right now is a negative thing, but it's also the catalyst for us to just cut the bullshit and grow and step into our self mastery. And become who we need to be and do what needs to be done. You know, because now is the time.
Now is the time. Amen, brother. Hey, I think that we'll leave it at that. Hey, this is, bro, honestly, holy, my bro, this is amazing. And like, I feel in my house is filled with some type of spirit right now. And it's crazy. It's crazy, brother. It's crazy, bro. Man, I'll talk to you soon anyway, and keep doing what you're doing. I love you, bro. I love you, and like, be safe.
Bro, I love you too, bro. Heaps of gratitude for having me on, bro. I love the idea of people like us coming together, bro, you know, because we're going to get through this, you know, and we talked about everything that's going on, but it's not going to go down like that. It's not going to go down with how they want, you know. Falling apart. We just need to, I feel like we've already won. We just need to walk out the next couple of years, bro. We need to go through it, and we're going to come out the other side, bro, flying. We're all going to have sustainable places by the beach. And much love. Let's talk again soon.
For sure, brother, for sure. See you later, bro.
They calling his name, talking this shit, bro.